Or like a pumpkin dipped in watermelon. Welcome back to Whitt Acres. Today we're back on fall cleanup and we're heading down to the vegetable garden and the cut flower garden. Gonna need these. You coming, Pop? Oh, actually I'm gonna need my machete, which I think is up in the shed. Hold on, Pop, I need something. My parents got a big old pumpkin. I didn't grow that pumpkin. My parents bought that pumpkin on one of their camping trips, and we're gonna actually feed it to the pigs before they head off to freezer camp. So make sure you check that out on my homestead channel. And if you missed it last video, we were up here at the shed doing some work here, building the double stack aquarium rack that's gonna be going down in the new fish room. It's been sitting out here trying to dry off because every time I touch it, I get more black stain on myself. So hopefully a couple days out here in the nice weather that we're having is gonna dry it up. And they're actually calling for almost an inch of rain tomorrow, so we might be coming into the wet season. There's my machete. Now I'm ready, Pop. Come on. Some people don't think of using a machete in their garden, but it comes in handy a lot of the time. I hear you, birds. We got the roosters making noise, all the turkeys gobbling, and a beautiful sunny day out here. So down here in the vegetable garden, we still have a good bit of color, but I want to start working over here on the cut flower garden. We did throw some soil down here just to kind of fill in the ruts from the backhoe going through the gate. But since we have a lot of color out here on the cut flower garden, I want to work on cleaning it up so we can actually see the color and appreciate what's left of it while we still have it. We're going to be getting some rain and I think it's going to be cooling off, but I want to see this color out here until we get that first frost. And I need to dig up these dahlias so I can store them over this year, and hopefully I'll be able to grow them again next year, because the ones I stored over last year did not make it. So my mower is still broke, so the grass is getting real long. We've been lucky that the weather hasn't been too hot to where it's actually been growing real slow, but you can tell that the grass is real long. It's not cleaned up like I like to have it. I'll probably be able to get one more mow in before the weather really changes and we don't have to mow anymore. But with all the rain they're calling for right now, I don't think I'll even get that last mow in. You cooling off at the pond, Pop? Good boy. So we're gonna get all these sunflowers out here cleaned up, and then we're gonna head inside the vegetable garden, see what else is growing in there, because this volunteer I just noticed has some fruits on it. So we're gonna have to get in here, harvest what we still can, and then clean up the rest. Huh, Pop? I'm gonna start with the machete. It's the quickest thing to slash down all the sunflowers. I don't wanna pull out all the roots. I wanna leave all those in there so they can decompose and add to the soil. The finches got most of the seeds, so we don't have to worry about them. Hopefully they drop some into the garden that can grow next year. But I'm gonna be cutting off all the stalks, getting them over to the fire pit so we can burn them down to ash, and then they'll go back into the garden as well. Well, we got all the sunflowers chopped down, and there was a lot of volunteer sunflowers in there. I didn't plant any of them this year. They were all volunteers, and I really got a lot of them. I'm pretty happy with what happened, but we have this giant one, which I didn't end up saving any seeds from it, so I'm hoping some of them fell down back into the garden, because I don't know if there's any left. If there's any left, they're probably not viable, because the birds will leave ones that aren't viable. This guy has quite the trunk on him, so we're going to try and chop this one down too. Little one beside it. Probably could have got bigger if this one wasn't sucking the energy beside it. Try and get it in one. Did it. It's a great gardening tool, really. I'll leave a link in the description. It's looking pretty good. There's a lot of color in here left to show off. Puppy, what are you doing? It's not time to dig up the dahlias yet, bud. That's not time yet. But yeah, we still have zinnias, dahlias, calendula blooming here. Some of the echinacea still has some color on it. I'm not going to be cutting it all down today. I'm just trying to clean it up here for fall. But I'm thinking it still looks pretty good out here. I like whenever fall comes and everything starts dying back, but we still have some things showing some color. So I really like to watch everything just hold out till the very end. And I did get a short video of this one up here. We have this weed that's blooming. Over here at the entrance of the vegetable garden, we have a tall red dahlia, and it's not even the biggest feature right now. This weed that came up is blooming beautifully, and it's bringing in all the pollinators. There's a bunch of different bees on here, and they're loving it. We have honeybees and bumblebees all over this thing. So even though it's a weed and not a flower, it's really making the front of this entrance look good. Here's another sunflower we can finally cut down. This one was a volunteer that was kind of in the way all year long, but Looks like the birds have already gotten what they got to get out of it, so we can chop this one out of here as well. The structure on that thing, they're so strong. Inside the vegetable garden here, we have a bunch of lilies that we can still cut back, and the hostas are starting to fade away, but I'm not worried about those yet. I'll cut those back for the winter cleanup. I want to come in here and see what we can harvest here for fall decorations yet. Look at this thing. We have a saucer style here, real flat like that. We have some different ones coming out, so there must be two different plants in here, because look at these. This one's round, but it's got the same colors, and right beside it's a big one. Look how big that is. Never seen anything like this one. I think we have gourds that are similar, I guess, but look at the size of this thing. I don't have anything else growing this side, so this is definitely a hybrid from last year. And we even have a few in here, so we're going to be getting these out for decoration and setting them around. And I can't say enough about the brocade marigolds. They have just been amazing this year. You can see how many tomatoes we still have in there. Grew way more than we needed this year. And the peppers as well, a bunch of those in there for the animals. Set that down, step in here. We also have some, looks like yellow bell peppers. Come here. There we go. Yeah, nice little bell pepper right there, still growing out here. But we did already harvest all the potatoes, so those are all finished up. The autumn blaze red maple is in its full glory, but the honey locust practically completely lost all its leaves. And the thing doing the best on the squash mound is, again, the brocade marigolds doing really well. But we do have one pumpkin growing out here, and look at this, a decent sized one. That's pretty good right there. And another little one on there as well. Puppy, did you find any? What's up in here, bud? Okay, it was a weeby little. So we have some decorative pumpkins up here too we can harvest. So we're gonna have to get a bushel basket. Oh, there's some little ones there as well. That one's still green. There might be more. Oh, there's more. So I'm gonna have to put the machete down, grab the snips, and do some harvesting down here. I'm probably gonna have to grab a basket because there looks like there's a good bit down here still. It is a lot to clean up as well. So we still have all this fennel in here. We have all these grass weeds and stuff growing up through the pumpkin patch and the pathways. So I'm gonna have to get the weed whacker out here, knock this completely down. I don't know if we'll get to all that in this video. I'm trying to just do a little bit of cleanup here and some harvesting. We have one sunflower that still has a bunch of seeds in there that I can still get. The kale all came back pretty strong, and so did the Swiss chard, and you guessed it, the brocade marigold. We have some broccoli leaves from the Romanesco growing over here, so those will be good for the ducks and the goose. And then we have lettuce actually growing down here. Look at this, volunteer lettuce, and Mumbles would love that. I'll have to get some to her. And we got some fungus growing in here. I'm not sure if I can eat that one though. Let's get in here and harvest some of these big old gourds. Look at this thing. That's awesome. I don't know what it is. It's like a large marrow mixed with a different type of gourd. It just turned out to be its own little hybrid. It's neat though. Looks like it's a watermelon and a pumpkin. Or like a pumpkin dipped in watermelon. These are pretty cool. I don't know what they are, but I like them. We also have this guy in here. Totally different, kind of the same color pattern, totally different shape though. And what is this thing? Look how tiny it is. Look at that. I don't even know what you'd call that. That's like a mini pumpkin. What are you hunting, pup? Is there something underneath the plastic? Okay, you go ahead, bud. I'm gonna take this little pumpkin off of the squash mound here because I think it's soft anyway. Yeah, it's got some bugs in it. Little pill bug in there. I don't know if you can see them. Little pill bug in there. So we're going to give that to the pigs. And by the looks of this plant, it doesn't have too much energy left. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this pumpkin off too, even though it's still green. We will just put it in the sun and let it orange up. Actually, it has a more orange bottom than it does top. That's funny. And there was actually another little one right beside it. Don't want to leave anybody behind. That one's a cool one. That one looked like or shaped like a tooth almost, or an apple. This guy over here, I guess, was growing, but something got into him and took him away from everybody else. It's just hanging out over here all half-eaten. I don't know what happened. I just noticed that one. Look how far away it is from any of the other plants. Huh. Deer could have come in the gate. I don't really shut that, so deer definitely could have came in here and enjoyed a pumpkin. Pop. Little big old grasshopper on the marigold. And some bees. They're everywhere. They're loving the marigolds. What is that? Some type of moth? All right, we're getting distracted by nature here, but we're gonna try and get these little ones. Something was trying to eat this one, ate the stem right out of it. I like how these little ones have really long stems. That's neat. So we're gonna get these ones all cut up here. And I actually have had these little orange ones last as decoration for over a year before they start getting actually just dried out. They don't even rot. Some of them will actually, if they stay in the right temperature and humidity, they'll actually just dry out like a gourd. Oh, there's a lot of these. Come pop. Ooh, and here's a little white one that's not quite mature. Look how cute that little pumpkin is. That's adorable. Looks like we have some other ones. These ones are green, but we're harvesting everything today. Another little, and another green one here. This might be a good size. Kind of like a jack-o'-lantern size, a little bit smaller. Anything else down the hill, pup? Oh yeah, there is. There's a pumpkin down here. There we go. Another one. What'd you find, pup? What'd you find? 2 of them? What a find, pup. Good job. Well, I thought I had them all collected up, but then I just found one that might be the biggest one down here on the squash mound. Did you find it too, pup? Yeah, it's on the back side here, but look at it. Already turning orange. Let's get a nice long stem on this. And then get a nice look at it. Ugh. Oh, I'm gonna have to get below it. Here we go. It's probably a 12-pounder here, puppy. Maybe more. Ugh. See how big it is next to the other one. Pretty close. They're pretty close. We got twins. Not bad. I've said it already, but I had a pretty bad year with pumpkins and gourds this year. Everything I started from seed didn't get going. But luckily I've been gardening for a few years now, so I was able to have some volunteers pop up. So much like these weird hybrid gourds that came from this volunteer plant, I was able to get a bunch of other volunteers growing up and producing something that I'd be able to use for decorations this fall. And just like this plant here, it was a volunteer, and I even missed a pumpkin, so I gotta come snip this one off too, because it grew another since the last time I harvested. And over here by the compost, we already harvested the main pumpkins that were growing out of here, and the vines have pretty much died back, but I noticed I missed one of these pumpkins as well too. So we have a little pumpkin growing up in the Rose of Sharon here. So we're gonna get this one harvested today. Get in there. Okay, don't want to drop it. So this one's a nice little pumpkin as well, and it actually grew up out of the compost into the tree there. The pumpkin patch also needs cleaned up here for the winter, but we're not going to be getting into that yet. We are going to be using the compost up at the barn that I've been getting from all the animals to be spreading here on the pumpkin patch. So hopefully we'll have a nice fertile pumpkin patch for next year's big giant pumpkin and not get these little ones. All right, I'm getting a little winded from talking and walking, so I'm going to get something that I can collect all these gourds up and get them out of the garden. Are you getting a drink from the beach? Good boy. All right, got my basket and a drink. Puppy's got his cube. It's not really a ball, it's a cube, huh, bud? But you want to play with this because it's not that easy to kick. Hey, bud, come here. There you go, run. Should fit. I wanted to take a moment and say thank you for all you viewers that are able to follow along with my ADHD style of nature loving here on the property. I go from gardening to fish room stuff and aquatics and ponds and back to gardening, so I'm really happy you're able to follow along and try and make sense of it. But I am really thankful you guys are willing to follow along with all my adventures here on the property, with all the different kinds of nature I'm into and jumping from different thing to different thing. I am going to be doing some more gardening videos as we're cleaning up for the fall and getting ready for winter, but I'm also going to be in the fish room getting that ready, because as I'm spending more time inside during the winter, because the days are getting shorter here in Pennsylvania, I don't say it like that. But since the days are getting shorter here in PA, I will be spending a lot more time inside, so I'm trying to get my fish room all designed up and bringing nature inside with me. These big ones aren't going to fit. What am I thinking? I also have a completely separate channel on all my homesteading activities with all the different animals I have at the barn, so that pulls me off in different directions, and there's a lot of stuff I need to get done up there before winter comes. And since we have that big rain coming, there's actually some things I need to get done up at the barn, so I'm going to be filming a homestead video up there after I get done with this video. Oh, your ball. Silly pup. Alright, I can't use the handles, I don't think. Yeah, maybe. I don't want to. The basket's a family heirloom, so I'm just gonna carry it the safe way. Well, don't you just hate when that happens? Ugh, thing was in there. All right, that filled up the bonfire pit. Who's here? Who's trying to help? Bonnie! You trying to come help, Bonnie? What are you doing, girl? You just out free ranging. Bonnie likes to free range. She goes all around this place all by herself. Oh, girl. Yeah, you're okay. You do you, girl. Now, Pop. Yeah, make sure she's one of ours, huh? Make sure she's one of ours. Came home yesterday and all the Thanksgiving turkey escaped. I found them up by the compost pile and back by the breeder turkey house. So we had a little adventure whenever I got home from work yesterday, getting them all back in. How, Bonnie? Yeah, you're never a problem though. You keep doing you, girl. I really love having animals just free ranging around the property. Well, that's why it was hard to roll this thing. We're flat. And I missed the sunflower from the entry gate, so we'll get this one. But that's gonna be all for today. We got another garden cleaned up for the fall, and we even got a little bit more harvested for decorations. We can see some color out at the cut flower garden now without all the clutter from the sunflower stalks. And like I said, we still have to do some winter cleanup, but we're just trying to handle this garden piece by piece. Bonnie, I don't know if you've ever made it down this far before, girl. This is new terrain for you. But that's going to be all for this one. If you love nature, make sure to subscribe down below. Hopefully you can follow along with all my randomness here at Whitt Acres. But if you liked the video, make sure to subscribe down below, hit that like button before you leave, and you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching.